The main resource that I use, this is my bread and butter, what changed the game for me. And I was listening to this resource up literally to the day of the exam. As I was driving to the exam location, I was listening to this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning into another video. Today's topic is going to be about my real estate journey. I have my iPad here, so I'm gonna be looking down at that just so that I don't ramble and that I can keep organized. But basically, I'm gonna talk about why I decided to get into real estate, how I picked my real estate school, the ins and outs of the real estate school course structure, and then eventually how I was able to prep for the real estate exam. I hope that you stay tuned to the very end of the video because there's a lot of good things that I learned through friends, YouTube, etc. So I'm going to share them all with you. If you like this content, if you like the information I'm giving you, give us a like, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and tune back in so that you can get more information. You can also follow me on my Instagram at RealtorChem so you can see like what I'm up to with real estate, the clients I'm working on, etc. Let's get right into it. So the first reason I decided to get into real estate is because of the challenge. I'm the type of person that really likes to try new things. I get kind of bored being stagnant or just like working on one thing. I'm a busybody, y'all. Real estate for me was just like a new frontier. And I'd actually been introduced to real estate earlier in my college career when I was a freshman and I was an accounting major. There was this girl who I knew who I believe she was doing nursing at the same time, but she decided to do real estate and eventually open her own brokerage. She was doing that while we were in school and she was going on these trips, buying these expensive bags and things like that. So all in all for me, I was like, girl, you are making your money and we're still in college. But in my mind, I was thinking, oh, I have to wait till I graduate. I have to wait because if I do it, I'm not gonna finish this degree. I will get into my college story like in a different video and how it all panned out anyway. I just was like, if I do this real estate thing now, I'm not gonna finish this degree, so let me put it on the back burner. Fast forward to when I was about to graduate, let's say the semester before graduation. At that point, I had already been a licensed nail tech for almost 3 years. I'd already been exploring that. I had my full-time job on the table. I'd already accepted that, but I wasn't necessarily, I guess, pressed to do real estate. It was more so like it just kind of came back to me. And my best friend, she got her real estate license in South Carolina. We kind of like jokingly were like, oh girl, we can do this. We can be like selling Sunset, moving to a new state. I thought about having my main source of income and supplemental income. So I thought, okay, let me try out real estate. Something I already had the interest in. Let me go back to that. So that's kind of like the setup or why I decided to go into real estate. When you're picking your real estate school, it really depends on the state that you're going for. Because I was going to the state of Georgia, there are online opportunities for you to finish your coursework, take your school exam, then go and sit for state board. And because I was still out of the state of Georgia, I decided to go the online route. I knew I wanted to have my coursework completed before going to Georgia. That way I'd be able to just sit for my exam as soon as I moved here, get my license and keep it pushing. I was still in college when I started my real estate coursework, and I made that decision because I was already in the mental space of studying, taking notes. So I thought if I add this on, it would be basically like taking on an additional class. When I was watching YouTube videos and looking at different people's journeys, they were saying that it was basically like being in school again. So I thought, okay, this is probably best for me while I'm already still in my mind or still in my school bag. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it because once I graduate, oh baby, don't ask me about no classrooms, no homework, none of that. So that was just how I decided to do it, and it worked out for me because it ended up being just like another online class basically. The school that I actually attended was the CE Shop. Back when I was a freshman and I had been considering like what real estate was, and that was the first school that I actually researched then. So fast forward like however many years later, this school would fit best with my schedule, so I decided to go ahead with it. The CE Shop is amazing. The way that they teach you, the resources available, the price point, all of that is amazing. And I can only speak once again for the state of Georgia. I can't speak for whatever state you're coming from. For the state of Georgia, the price point is about $300 to $500, and it depends on the add-ons you get. So you can get an add-on where you get like study materials. You can get an add-on where it comes with a 25-hour post-licensing course. That's what I ended up buying, mainly because I just wanted to have it all nice, neat, and organized. Once I got my license, I could just do my post-licensing right through and then just be fine. So I went ahead and got the more expensive one. I think I paid like $480 something, somewhere around $500. I will stop here and caveat with saying real estate is an investment. You're gonna be paying not just for courses, not just for sitting for the exam, but for brokerage fees, for gas running around, business cards, you know, professional clothes, super key, for the lock boxes on homes. Like there's a lot of different fees. If you are not in the financial space to make that type of investment, that is something you have to be very for real with yourself about. I do think it is manageable because like I said, I was in college, I was working doing nails, and I was trying to, you know, save to move out here. I was still able to make it work. And if you need a more in-depth like information on how I was able to manage it all, I can make a separate video about that. But going back to the CE shop, I really like the structure of the classes. Basically, it was structured so that there were, I believe, let's say 15 or so modules, and each module was broken down into 1 to 10 lessons. So there might be module 2 has only 2 lessons, but then module 5 has like 10 lessons. After each lesson, you do like a mini quiz that's, I believe, 4 to 5 questions, but at the end of each module, you would do a test. And I can't remember right now how many questions are on the test. And they could have changed the structure by now, but when I took my coursework during 2022, this is how it's structured. It was a lot of quizzing, review, testing. I really believe that that's what helped me in the long run, because I was able to remember like questions that I'd seen before and information that I'd seen before. So that was extremely helpful. Go back to my notes here. Another reason that I really like the CE shop is because of the resources that they had. Every like section module, they have like add-ons that can help you get like a more in-depth understanding of a subject matter. So that was great. I know that other programs like Pearson, other real estate schools might also offer additional materials, but the CE shop, it all worked for me, especially having it online. It was self-paced, super convenient, a lot of reading material for sure, a lot of reading heavy. So if you're the type of person that's more of a visual kinesthetic learner, like you need to be in person, seeing it hands-on, it might not be for you. But for me, I was able to manage it and it helped a lot. You got through all the lessons, all the modules, all the tests. There is a final exam for the class. Yes, this is not your licensing exam. I repeat, this is not your licensing exam. This is the exam that you will take to get your certification saying that you completed the course, and they will send that over to your state board and say, hey, this girl has completed this exam for our class. She's completed all the coursework. She is ready to sit for her state exam. The course exam for the CE shop, you can take it wherever you like. What you do is like a room scan. So you take your device, the laptop or whatever you're on, and you scan all around and you show them that your room is free and clear from any notes or anything like that, then you're good to go there. I actually took mine at a library. I rented out a little room for like an hour, 2 hours. Hard to remember like the time, guys, because I'm telling you, it was a blur. I was just trying to get it over with. I think it was about an hour, and there's a timer on there. You're allowed to bring a scientific calculator and scratch paper, I believe, 1 sheet. If you bring a water bottle, there can be no label on the bottle. Pencils, just regular pencils or pens, that's up to you. They will also provide an on-screen calculator, but I needed my like own calculator. Took that exam, passed immediately, did really well on that. That was good. This is while I was still in my home state. Then when I was moving out to Georgia, I immediately got my exam scheduled to take the licensing board exam for Georgia. When I took it, I think it was $175 for the exam. Recognize that every time you take that exam, you have to pay for it. If you fail 5 times, you're gonna pay for it 5 times. This is why prep, studying, all that is super important, because number 1, you don't want to get burnt out having to keep taking the exam. And number 2, you don't want to have to keep paying for that. Let's just be honest. All in all, as far as like how long it took me to do the course, the actual coursework, it only took me about 2 weeks to complete it in the grand scheme of things. But then it took me about 3 months to study for the final exam for the course. I really wanted to, I guess, like, make sure the information was drilled into my head. Plus I was graduating, so I had a lot going on, pictures, graduation, all of that good stuff. March, April, May, I was done with the course itself. And then June, July, May, June, July into August is when I was studying to take the class exam. And in August is when I passed my class exam. And August is also the same month I moved to Georgia. So it was like boom, 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 boom. And when I moved to Georgia, I scheduled the state board exam the end of the first week that I moved out here. So I was down here August 13th. I scheduled that exam sometime like over the weekend. Let me say this. I do think that I knew what I was doing, but let me tell you something. When I took that first exam, I failed that exam.
Thank God for humbling me today.
I failed that exam by 3 points. On the grading scale, that's 1 question. I missed it by 1 question. I had way too much going on. Your girl was tired. Your girl, had been staying up. It was just a lot. I'll say don't do that. When you schedule exams, schedule it during a time where you have energy and are in the mental space to really focus in on your studying. After I failed the exam by the 1 question, I wanted to reschedule it immediately because I was like, no, I can do this. If I just miss by 1 question, I can do it. But actually, they have to make you wait for a week before you can retake the exam. Okay, no problem. I scheduled it for the upper week and I got to crunch it. I put everything else on the back burner and got to studying. I am very blessed that my job my full-time 9-to-5 that I work wasn't started by the time I moved out here. So I got hungry. I got to work. That whole week I was like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is real estate. Wake up in the morning, real estate. Lunch, real estate. Dinner, real estate. So how I was able to prep during that week before I retook the exam, I heavily relied on 2 main resources. The first being the PSI practice questions and exams. My best friend who got her license in South Carolina, she paid for the full thing and she was so gracious enough to let me use it. I was on there reviewing questions, Googling things, committing it to memory, truly, certain questions, because they were coming up over and over. When you fail the exam, is that it'll actually tell you the specific concept areas where you missed the most questions. For me, of course, it was the finance questions. It was those mathematical equations. And so crazy because I really was an economics major. I really was doing it. After I left college, I just needed to refresh myself. The PSI practice exam and practice questions helped me a lot of review. I'll just take the questions and at the end it would tell me, oh no, this is wrong because of this, or reread some concepts. Another area that was very confusing, I guess, for me was the law portion. They'll do some trick questions. This is why you need to look at a variety of different resources so that you can get the full scope, because some of the questions people will definitely tell you it's not that you don't know it, it's the way that they ask it. And the main resource that I use, this is my bread and butter, what changed the game for me. And I was listening to this resource up literally to the day of the exam. As I was driving to the exam location, I was listening to this. It is The Prep Agent. He also has a website, prepagent.com. The Prep Agent is this YouTube channel. He is amazing. He goes in depth. He has webinars. He highlights commonly missed questions, brings on people like you and I who are getting their license to be his co-hosts for different videos, quizzes them, which in turn is quizzing you, because if they're going, and you're listening and you're like, I don't know those answers either, that's the things that you need to go back and review. I was binging them. I was listening to them driving in the car, like a podcast. I was listening to them, like I said, up until the exam, literally. And I will say that that is probably what helped me the most when prepping for the exam. He puts it in almost layman's terms. It's almost like you're talking to a friend. He's been doing it for years. Whatever you need, he has it for you. And I cannot promote it enough. They're being able to watch the webinars, see the questions pop up, and then listen. My brain would immediately be able to match concepts when I saw them later on, maybe on a PSI practice exam or the CE shop practice exam. The next week I took the exam, your girl passed. period.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Passed well above what I got before. I 100% attribute it to the CE shop, PSI, the prep agent, taking the time to, like I said, put everything else on the back burner and focus in on it. At the time, I think people have so much else going on in life that they don't have the time to really, like, I guess, divert to just real estate or just studying for the exam. You want to get it done, this is like advantageously, like really fast. You can honestly do the whole thing in like a month, let's say 2 months. But do you have the time to devote a month to 2 months just to it? I truly believe that it helped me that I was still in a college frame of mind. I was still having positive study habits. I was already used to taking class. Like, that was it. A lot of people who get into real estate, maybe you've been removed from school for a long time. Maybe you didn't go to college and you haven't studied in, let's say, some people a decade or more. That is perfectly fine. That doesn't mean it's impossible. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that you'll definitely have to reframe your mind to get into a place where you're used to studying and doing all that good stuff again. That is where I'll leave it. I just wanted to be as in-depth as possible so that you can understand the process from start to finish of how I was able to get my real estate license. As excuse me, some water. I'll make a separate video talking about encouragement, how to get deals, all that good stuff. I've been in the game about 8 months now. I'm feeling really, really good about it. I feel happy and blessed that I was able to do this, and happy and blessed that I'm able to share with you guys how I was able to do this so that I can help maybe even one person achieve their goals of becoming a real estate agent. It's a very lucrative business. A lot of people become real estate agents and a lot of people exit the real estate market and just find that maybe it's too much for them. Don't be discouraged by the things you hear. If you want to do it, you can, and there are resources available to get you there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any specific real estate questions, please leave a comment below and I'll try to answer them in a following video or just respond to your comments, and drop any ideas for videos that you have that you would like to see. Just anything, honestly. Yeah, so once again, my name is Kem. You can follow me on Instagram at RealtorKem for more real estate information, following my journey with real estate, and I'm gonna be posting videos on here. That is all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.